So, we all think we know Merlin, right? The wise old wizard with the long white beard, mentor to King Arthur. But what if I told you that his real origin story is way, way darker than you could ever imagine? Today, we're digging into that shocking tale. Okay, let's just start with a question that gets right to the heart of it all. What if the single most important magical figure in history, the guy who basically saves a kingdom, was actually created to destroy it? It sounds like a crazy plot twist, but that is the central paradox of Merlin himself. To really understand the wizard, we have to go right back to the beginning. And trust me, it's not the fairy tale you're thinking of. This whole story kicks off with a demonic plot to unleash nothing less than an antichrist onto the world. Picture this: ancient Britain, long before Camelot was even a dream. According to the old legends, first written down by Geoffrey of Monmouth, a demon from the nether realms had a very specific and very terrible goal: to father a half-human child who would tear civilization apart. And this is where the conflict at the core of Merlin's character comes from. It's just brilliant. His mother was a mortal woman of absolute purity, a noblewoman, a nun. His father, on the other hand, was a creature of pure darkness, an incubus demon. I mean, you literally could not get a more extreme collision of the sacred and the profane. So you might be asking, what exactly is an incubus? Well, in medieval mythology, this was a specific kind of demon. Its whole purpose was to prey on sleeping women in order to father a child. And this wasn't random. It was a calculated act, a way to create a demonic agent right here in the mortal world. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? The result of this union was Merlin, a child who wasn't just one thing or the other. He was born with a human soul, but he also came into the world saddled with the supernatural knowledge and immense power of his demonic father. But here's the thing about a dark destiny. It's not always set in stone. A single act of faith was about to completely derail this demonic plan and change the future of Britain forever. You have to imagine how utterly terrified Merlin's mother must have been. She knew her son was destined for evil, meant to be a tool for darkness. So in an incredible act of desperation and pure faith, she took her infant son to a priest to have him baptized. Now this is the really fascinating part, the breakdown of this miracle. So Merlin starts out as the intended Antichrist. That's step one. Then step two, you get the sacred intervention, the baptism. But the outcome, step three, is just incredible. His powers aren't stripped away from him. Instead, they're redeemed, cleansed, and now available to be used for good. And this is the absolute key to his whole story. The baptism worked like a kind of spiritual filter. It completely severed the demonic purpose he was born with, but it left his supernatural abilities untouched. So he kept all the magic, but lost the malice. So what does a half-demon with a ton of power do when his evil destiny gets canceled? Well, he becomes the single most important advisor in the history of a kingdom, and he uses those otherworldly gifts to build a better future. I mean, talk about a total 180. The child who was meant to bring ruin becomes the ultimate protector. He guides Uther Pendragon, and then, most famously, he becomes the mentor and guardian for the future King Arthur, setting the stage for Britain's golden age. His number one gift was prophecy. He wasn't just a magician doing a few tricks, he was a true seer. He could see the threads of fate, understand the past and the future, and give guidance that no mere mortal could ever possess. You can see why kings would find that pretty valuable. And his arsenal of magic was just legendary. He was a master shapeshifter. He could create illusions so powerful they could fool an entire army, which is famously how he disguised Uther. Some of the wilder tales even say he magically transported the giant stones of Stonehenge all by himself. The guy was an absolute powerhouse. And all of this brings us right back to the core of his character. He's a man who is forever defined by these two conflicting halves of himself. He was never fully one thing or the other, just this living, breathing paradox of good and evil, magic and faith. This slide lays it out so well. On the one hand, he's the sacred figure, almost like a saint, guiding a Christian kingdom. But on the other hand, he's undeniably profane. He's the son of a demon, a wielder of dark arts, and honestly, a bit of a mischievous, unpredictable trickster. So ultimately, Merlin's role was to be a bridge. He stood with one foot in the human world and the other in the realm of magic and spirits. And that's really what makes him so complex and so enigmatic. He understands both sides better than anyone else possibly could. In the end, the story of Merlin's birth is more than just a myth. It's a powerful message. It's a testament that where you come from doesn't have to be where you end up. That through choice, through faith, and through purpose, even the absolute darkest of origins can be redeemed. And that leaves us with one final thought. Merlin's legend forces us to ask a timeless question. Is a hero defined by where they come from or by the choices they make along the way? It's something to think about. Thanks for watching.